The first time I realized something was wrong, it wasn't hunger. It was the way the fire sounded different when no one sat close to me. The crackle felt louder, like it was filling a space that used to be mine. I was already chewing when I noticed the scraps were smaller. Not gone, just lighter. The kind you give when you don't want to look cruel. I kept my eyes down, counted the bites, told myself it was the season. The animals had moved. Everyone was thin. Everyone was tired. But the others still leaned toward each other when they ate. No one leaned toward me. That was how it started. Not with words, with angles, with distance measured in feet, then glances, then silence. By the third failed hunt, my name was no longer needed. I could feel it in my legs when we walked. They matched pace without me. When I sped up, they slowed. When I slowed, they didn't notice. The group moved like a single body, learning to leave a limb behind. I told myself I imagined it. Fear does that, makes patterns out of nothing. The nights grew longer. The cold pressed closer, and the fire shrank. I sat at the edge of the circle, pretending I preferred it there. When laughter happened, and it still did, it happened behind my back. Not unkindly, just elsewhere. That was worse. The predator came quietly. At first, it was just tracks, too large, too close, pressed into the dirt near the water. Someone pointed. No one looked at me. We tightened the circle that night. I felt the shift in the ground as bodies adjusted, knees touching, shoulders brushing. I stayed where I was. I could smell fear then. Sharp, metallic. It made the air feel thin. When something screamed far away, everyone jolted at once. Except me. I had already been tense. The next day, the strongest among us returned with the kill. Small, bloody, enough to keep us moving. The meat was divided carefully, respectfully. I received mine last. It wasn't punishment. It was efficiency. That night, I watched the fire die slower than usual. No one fed it until the last moment. When the darkness pushed in, I felt eyes flick toward the tree line, then back to the group. Then, briefly, to me. Not angry, calculating. That was when I understood the question had already been asked. If we have to run, who slows us down? I didn't sleep. Hunger makes noise at first, then it goes quiet. Fear does the opposite. It starts quiet, then grows teeth. Just before nightfall the next day, while backs were turned and the fire was being built, I saw the bundle, wrapped tight, set aside. The strongest one's portion. Extra fat, extra care, proof. My hands moved before I finished the thought. I told myself it was borrowing. I told myself I'd make it right after the next hunt. I told myself this would fix everything. When fingers closed around it, my chest loosened for the first time in days. Then, a shadow fell over me. No shouting, no raised hands, just stillness. The bundle was taken back, slowly, cleanly. No one looked angry. That was worse than anger. They stepped away from me, one by one, like a tide pulling back from shore. No blame, no punishment, just distance becoming official. I slept alone that night. The fire was smaller, or maybe it just felt that way. At dawn, I woke to quiet, the kind that presses on your ears. The ground where bodies had been was empty, tracks already fading, the fire cold. They hadn't run. They had walked without me. I followed at first, not close, not far, just enough to pretend I still belonged. But the forest swallowed sound, and soon there were no tracks to follow, just trees, just breath. When hunger returned, it was clean, simple. I learned to move quieter, to eat things I once ignored. My hands toughened. A wound on my leg closed slowly, then completely. I didn't die. That surprised me. What didn't fade was the feeling of being watched by nothing, of doing something well and having no one see it, of surviving a night and having no morning voice to confirm it mattered. Days passed, then more. I stopped counting. One evening, from a ridge, I saw smoke. Thin, controlled. A different group, larger, stronger. Laughter drifted up the slope. I crouched and watched them eat. For a moment, my chest filled with something close to hope. I imagined stepping forward, showing my scars, my skills, my proof. Then I imagined the way they would stand, the way they would measure me without words. The fire crackled. I stayed where I was, alive, hidden, unchosen. That was when I finally understood. Being left behind wasn't the worst part. The worst part was learning that even when you survive, the fear doesn't leave with the people. It stays, watching, waiting, just like me.